Okay, so let us go on our UCS machine, and this is where we have the equipment tab, right? On the equipment tab, we have the chassis. If you remember, the chassis, see it has detected a chassis over here. You will be able to see this has one blade server over here. This is the details and all, serial number. And this has acknowledgement and decommission. Half width blade server, B series, half width. You can see the service profiles associated on this one. As of now, there is no service profile. So we will see.
But again, you cannot do a service profile because you don't have one more server.
No, its service profile is related to one server. I want to see, I can right click and I can see create a service profile for this server. Okay. You can say I want to create.
But if that service, if that server is down, what?
See, the server is not down. The server is here. The server is not turned on.
Okay.
As of now, there is a server that does not have an operating system. If I want to do something, I will create a poly profile for him, and then I will allow him to boot, and then I will configure the operating system. But this is just a hardware.
What I am asking is,
yes,
you configure everything.
So let's see. This is my server, and see, you have two options. You can directly go and create a service policy over here, service profile over here, or you can first create the IP addresses, the pools, and then the policies. Let us create basic pools. Like yesterday, what we did is, if I want to talk about LAN, let's create a LAN. LAN may, you will have the IP pool, the MAC pool. So let us go here. First of all, let us configure these things. If you say, I have ports going to the server, see if these are your fabric interconnect modules, which are the ports that go down and which are the ones that go up. For example, if I say I have port number 1 and 2, see these ports are up because yesterday I configured these ports as your server ports. They are configured. So my FI has 2 ports going down into the UCS chassis, and those are connected to servers. That is why I told him these 2 ports are server ports. It's up. See, overall status is up, right? Your PC uses another software. I'll tell you about that. Yes. See here. See which port goes to the server, and then configure it accordingly, right? So yesterday we also configured port channel, I think here, right? See here, this is mode is trunk, port type is physical, and here SFP not present, maybe 6 and 7 are in a port channel, yes. See, disable port, unconfigure, show interface and all. Let us go on the LAN tab. See, on the LAN tab, if you serve, see, you can create VLANs, you have server links, MAC IDs, IP identities, quality of services, global policies, faults and all. So let's go in here and let's see what are all the configs. See, you can select about the, if you want to create a port channel, see yesterday you created a port channel 10, it is still there. So here, there are these things. You can expand them if you want. So we want to create only pools. You can simply select a pool from here and only pool related things will be shown. So if you say, I want to create an IP pool, you can right click and say create an IP pool, and I'll say, okay, CCNA underscore DC 1. And I want to create a sequential IP pool. And here you will select the range. I will say, okay, this starts with 30.0.0.1 and the size is 256. If I say 250, I'll say no worries. Subnet mask default gateway 30.0.0.250. Okay, 30.0.0.10 we'll say. Primary DNS 8.8.8.8, secondary DNS not required. And there is how you create an IP pool. Yes, getting the concept? So let's go in here. I created an IP pool, CCNA DC01. I will create a MAC pool. See, there are 2 ways. Here you can see, here you can plus and CCNA underscore DC1. Create a sequential MAC pool and add the MAC addresses. Size how many? I'll say 250, no worries. 250. Say okay, say finish. Created a IP MAC pool also. MAC pool created, IP pool created. If you want to see all, then you can see it's about the port channels, about the VLANs, and here it says about policies. So first we'll complete the pools, then we'll create policies. So let's go in SAN. SAN deals with what kind of pool? IQN pool, PWW, the worldwide port name, worldwide node name. So if you say I want to create worldwide node names, okay, create a worldwide node name CCNA underscore DC one, sequential node names, okay, create from here, create 100 and say okay, finish. Worldwide node name created. If you want to create a worldwide port name, go on WWPN, say create CCNA underscore DC1, sequential I want, okay, say add to it, create 100 node names. Depends on the requirement, you can select and say finish. See duplicate object detected, okay, I'll say, I'll edit this one, delete this, yes, I want to delete this, and I want to say create another, but I'll add something in here, I'll change it over here from 0, 1, kindly take and create 100. Let's say okay over here, let's say finish. Again, duplicate object, you need to specify any name to this object, okay. Sorry, the name is the one that gives an issue. CCNA DC 1 underscore, this is port worldwide name, and I'll say finish to it, creates a port worldwide name also. Okay, questions? So let's come back. Let's say PWWN and what are the policies. If you want to see, I can say show me everything. So we want to create virtual local area networks, virtual storage area networks also. Here we have created no iSCSI qualified names. See WWNN, there is a pool. WWPN, there is a pool. XN vSANs, if you want to create a virtual storage area network, just create it over here. But first we will create policies. Let's go and create the policies. Let's start from server. What type of policies do you want? Policies, there can be BIOS policies, host firmware, IPMI, maintenance, scrub policies. So if you say my server goes bad, and what about the data that was on the server? If you decommission a server, all the data must be deleted. So you can create a policy like that also. If you say, okay, create a policy, CCNA underscore DC1, I said this is delete all stuff. Disk scrub, yes. BIOS settings scrub, yes. Delete everything if you decommission a server. So you can select this one, okay. So server pool policies, threshold policies, adapter placements and all, and boot policies. If you want to create a boot policy, whether if your server is see, I'll say in here, create a boot policy, CCNA underscore DC1. I will create a boot policy for him, say boot underscore from SAN. And reboot on order change, no. See here you can tell your server, this is a blank server. Where will it boot from? Does it boot from the CD-ROM? No. If you want, you can add disk. Does it have a VNIC or VHBA? You can say add a virtual NIC. I'll say VHBA1. This is my primary. And in here, you can also add the SAN boot target. So if I want to add my SAN boot target, I will go on my MDS device. And I can say interface F 1/10 FC. Switchboard mode is FL. No shut, Control Z. Show floggy database. I see my fabrics, my hard disks logging in over here. I can simply copy this one and write it in Notepad. And if I am allowed to copy from here to the virtual machine, copy. To target 1. And can I paste it in here? I don't think so. It will allow me to do that. What I will do is, I will do some monkey business. Just keep this one over here, and this one. Let me find out a way. Okay, so we have copied this over here. What I'll do is I'll simply copy this one and put it on my primary boot option. I'll say okay. I will again say add and add this as secondary boot target LAN, and here I will paste the other one. Okay, so if you want to boot from SAN, you need to specify the LAN number, the logical unit number that carries your operating system, and I can say okay over here. As of now, I simply created a boot policy to boot from SAN, and then you can create another policies as you want. Unique HBAs and all, threshold policies, pool. See, server pool policy qualification. If you want to create a policy, see, ABC, just any number, just let's go through what it is asking. See, adapter, if this policy, see, if you are going somewhere out, you want to pre-provision a chassis. If the server is going to come later on and you want to be sure which server gets this policy, you can tell him, okay, this server will have some characteristics like this. And if you want, see, CPU qualifications, what is the architecture of the CPU? Is it a dual core? Oh, does someone use Phantom 4 also in this age? So this is Xeon MP or Xeon, and you can specify how many cores does it have. So you can be very granular when it comes to selecting things. As of now, we are not going to use anything over here. So there is a policy over here. If you want, you can also delete it, something. If you want to delete it, no worries. It takes its own time, but it will soon get refreshed. Yes. As of now, see, here also is the same thing. Threshold policies, adapter placement, policy controllers, host firmware policies, and all, everything is over here. Same stuff. So let's go to LAN and configure our policies. What type of policy do you want? Okay, LAN connectivity policy. If you are connecting from the LAN, you can create it over here. Quality of service policies. Yes, if you want to create a QoS policy, you can create a QoS policy. For example, if you say CCNA _ DC1, best effort, do you want it to be a platinum policy? Yes. Inline rate, host control or none, burst bytes, anything. If you want to create a policy, just create a policy and say okay to it, and a policy is created. VNIC template, okay. Virtual NIC. Why will you require virtual NIC? For your virtual machine. Yeah, if your server boots, CCNA _ DC1. See, this is very important. If you give a virtual adapter this fabric A and you do not select the failover, if FIA fails, he will not take the FIV. So you have to say, if FIA fails, please take the another FI. Enable failover is important. See, target VM initial template or updating template. Which VLAN will it belong? It can belong to 2 VLANs also. It can belong to VLAN 1. What is the maximum transmission unit? See, here you can select the MAC pool also. I want to select the MAC address. So if this virtual adapter is given to someone, where will he get the MAC address from? He will get the MAC address from this pool, and you are the one who decides the MAC addresses also. Here you want to say quality of service. Oh, this is the QoS policy. Quality of service must be there. As of now, I'm not doing anything over here. See, pin group and all, VN dynamic policy. So you can be very granular about it. So let's see if we are missing something in the LAN pool. We are missing port channels, of course. We are missing VLANs, of course. You can create a VLAN over here. As of now, there is VLAN 1 by default. Multicast, create multicast. This is dual and all. VLAN members. See, you can expand all these tabs and explore in here. Pools, policies, and connectivity. Let's go to the SAN and let's create the policy. Let's see what the policies over here are. See, default unique HBA, VHBA, virtual host bus adapter. Create a virtual host bus adapter, CCNA _ DC1. See, fabric IDA, which vSAN does it belong? If you don't have a vSAN, you can create it from here also. So let's see, okay, WWPN, okay, I have my worldwide port name. Quality of service, no, pin group, threshold, okay. So I take this one. Questions?
No.
So, okay, no worries. We are here on VHBS. Let us see the admin tab. The admin tab is all about administration, you can say. Here you will see all the faults tab, user management. Do you want to authenticate users locally? You want to create roles like a role-based access control. You can specify like Active Directory, which person is network admin operator, or else you can also push them on LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, 389 port number I guess. So you, yes, right, is it 389? Yes. So in here you can do all that things. Here the very amazing thing is the call home feature. What is the call home feature? In here you can create, see, if any emergency or an, see what is this? This is a critical fault, right? You can say critical thing comes up, contact Manoj at cisco.com. What is the phone number? 1111111. Okay, plus requires, right? So it says +11. Okay, email at 1@1.com. Address is anything. First ID is 111. Okay, contract ID, site ID. From email is my UCS at cisco.com. Reply to me at cisco.com. And simple as that. What is the host IP? 10.0.0.1. Port number, save changes. These are the profiles you can create. Call home policies. If you want to create a call home policy, you can create in your new UCS emulator. There are so many policies. Equipment is inoperable. Equipment is inaccessible. You can be very specific. If any issue comes up, kindly grab this and shoot an email. You can create this. This is a very nice feature. See, equipment problem. See, if there are many issues with license also. If your license is about to expire, you should tell them. See, link is down, limit has been reached, port failed, power problem. Anything you want your UCS to inform you. If you have 10-20 UCS machines, you cannot manage them single-handed, right? So you can do it by this policies over here. You can create a policy. System inventory, finite state machine, very important tab. If you want to join this one with UCS Central, you can do that also. Always save the changes before you exit the tab. See, register with your UCS and FSM over there. So let's have some fun. Let's create a service profile policy. As of now, I know it might not work because we are half past. We did not create vSANs and all, but let us try. Let's see what the service profile is asking. See, if you have servers over here, you can go under the root and you can create a service profile. Normally also create a service profile like this. It will ask you straightforward questions, nothing much. But if you want to create a service profile, if you think you are an expert, then you can create from an expert's point of view. So I'll say CCNA _ DC1. See UUID. I will select a UUID that we have created. If it is not there, you can see create a UUID pool suffix CCNA _ DC1 derived sequential, and I'll say OK. Just say 1 to it. Size is 10. I'll say OK, finish. So if you want to configure directly from here, you can choose it over here also. So what you can select is CCNA DC01. I created a UC. I am using this. Next, it will ask me for the networking part. So if you are doing some networking, you can see the VNIC policy over here. If you do not create, you can create it from here. Use a connectivity policy. If you created a LAN connectivity policy, it's okay. Or else you can create it right away here also. I don't want to create a LAN connectivity policy. If I say simple or expert mode from here, I'll say simple, it's okay. Select VLAN 10. Select VLAN 10 over here also, ETH1. Say next. Local storage, no, I don't want to create. I have a connectivity policy, and create SAN connectivity policy if you want. See WWN, I have my WWNs also. Simple as that. You can also add it WWPN. If I say next, it won't allow it. So you can create a SAN connectivity policy VHBA1, VHBA1, and simply select. So we have pools. Yeah, this looks fine. And say add. And SAN connectivity policy VHBA1. Select next. Zoning we did not configure. We'll do zoning later on. We'll do zoning upstream. Same next to these adapters. Server boot policy. Do we have a boot policy? Yes, we created boot from SAN policy. Okay. So here automatically the targets and all come up. I'll say next to it. Maintenance policy. Do you have any maintenance policy or you want to create a maintenance policy? Let's say next. Server assignment. Which server will be given this policy? I will assign it later on. So I can select a server from my pools in here. But as of now, I'll say assign later. See here, you can go previous also. Firmware adapter controller. See host firmware. And go next. And here, BIOS policy. What type of BIOS policy you want? Always give an IP address over here. Because if you don't give an IP address, how will you manage your server, right? So I'll say okay. 10.4.12.100 default gateway. 10.4.12.254 and I will say finish. See, it says your changes warning, pre-existing configuration, not overall resources are there. I'll say just let me see how does it create. Say okay. Service policy created. You can go on this one also. No, don't discard the changes. And then go in here. Service profiles. Let me check. Don't discard, please. So we have it here unassigned. Then you can go in here and you can also go on equipment. Go on the servers tab. As of now, I don't have connectivity over here in the chassis. We have one server over here. Server 1. See, this is a server you want to configure. You can say associate a service profile. So if you want to associate a service profile, this is our DC created. Say OK to it. Say yes, and it is associating. Here you should always see what is happening. See, it is on 93%. So it has, see, everything turn on up and all. So it will take its time and see, finite state machine is success. Turn up. Now, if you want to boot your server from SAN, then you can turn it on also. See, general, if you go, can say boot the server. If you want to boot it, you can simply say boot the server. So what I need to do is a little bit of FCOE uplink, and once my connectivity is established to the server, it will boot from SAN also. But I need to change more things in here. This is how you create a basic service profile. Getting the point?